Hello everybody and welcome to my channel. My name is Hayden and I am a full-time software engineer based in London. This video is going to be slightly different to my normal videos. Basically, I'm trying to learn Rust at the minute, so I thought I would tell you, or at least document my journey of kind of how, as a Python developer, I'm going from learning, obviously being quite proficient in Python, to now trying to learn a new language in Rust, and the kind of tips and tricks and things that I'm using in order to learn them. So I thought I would just make a video about that and post it, and then, see how it goes. So yeah, here we go. So I'm not going to give you all the details of Rust is, but essentially it's just a lower level language than Python. It's faster than Python for various things. And there's a lot more intricacies involved in the language. And personally myself, I just want something else to learn, something new to learn. I'm kind of a bit bored with Python. It's just fine, but I kind of just want to pick up a new language. And I've been, it seems to have a lot of hype about it. It keeps getting voted the best developer experience language, so I thought I would just give it a go and learn it and see what happens. And also, it's fun to learn new things. I haven't learned a new language in a while, so I thought I'd give it a go. So so this is basically how I am going to learn Rust. So the first thing I would recommend doing is jumping over to the Rust homepage at rust-lang.org, which is probably where you'll find all the information you need to know about Rust, and you can dig in about what it is and what it's used for, command line tools, WebAssembly, networking, etc, 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 and why people love it so much. So come in here, get it installed, and do the thing you want to do with it. But one of the first resources that's kind of hot in the Rust community is called the book. So if you go to this Learn tab at the top, there'll be different ways to learn and things you can do. And one of the main ones that you can learn is the book, which is the Rust essentially programming language in a book, and it tells you all the different things you can do. So you can go through and it talks about kind of data types and how to define them, functions and how you write them, all the way through to some more complex kind of Rust specific coding programming paradigms like ownership and borrowing, pattern matching. Well, it's not really a Rust thing, but it's part of their language. How they handle errors, automated tests, I/O, kind of things like that. Just everything you need to know about getting started with Rust. Don't get me wrong, you're not going to lead this, and you also build little mini projects on your way through as well. Don't get me wrong, you're not gonna read this book and be a Rust expert, but it will give you a perfect kind of foundation and building blocks to work from. So I went through this and I built these projects, and they're on my GitHub, so you can go check it out. You can see how I did. I pretty much just followed them word for word because it's a tutorial book, so it's kind of what you got to do. So yeah, that's that. And then once I was finished with that, I jumped over to Rustlings, which actually I think is on their website as well. Do the Rustlings course? Yes, perfect. So Rustlings is also on their website, which I think is actually super fun. So come in here, and this is called Rustlings, and it's basically like a load of mini quizzes that specifically target points of the language. So I've actually tried to open it up here. So this is Rustlings basically, which is I've downloaded the source code, which is what you got to do. I've opened it up in IntelliJ, and it's essentially a bunch of quizzes. So inside, I think exercises, you've got all these different quizzes about things to do, and you have to complete the quiz in Rust for it to advance to the next level. So you can see I'm currently I don't know if you can actually see it might not clear it. So if I go Rustlings watch, it will say, welcome to Rustlings. I've done 0 of 95 exercises. I've actually done them all. I've just not committed them on this computer, so that's why I'm not. But I need to go to this exercise intros.rs. So if I go to intro.rs, there is essentially something wrong with this file, and I need to fix the file. And in order to fix it, this is a bit of a silly one because it's just loads of prints. But basically, once you've completed it and the file compiles, you can get rid of the I am done section here and press save. And then you'll see Rustlings recompiles, and I've now completed 1% of the Rustlings course quizzes, and I can go through. And you can see if I go to intro 2 now, there's a bit of a typo for this print, so I'm just going to say hello world, I think is probably what they want me to put there. There we go, I've completed it now, so this is completed. And if I get rid of the I am done, it will just keep going through until I get here. So for example here, look, it's complaining that we've not put a let in front of the X, and it helps you build up the language by doing little quizzes, and I think it's really helpful, it's really useful. I fully recommend giving it a go. The reason I kind of made this video is because I've actually contributed back to the Rustling's source code. Basically, there was one of the exercises in it wasn't testing one of the kind of work or the flows of the data flows. And you could basically, you could pass the question without actually implementing all the code. So I sent them the merge request and say, hey, this will fix this for you. And then you can, then all lines of code have to be implemented. So I felt quite cool about that because it was like, oh, I've just learned a new language and I've also implemented something in that language for other people to learn from. So that did make me feel pretty good. If you actually go to their website and say the author is me, you can see that there's one merged MR in their website. And basically this is the MR that I raised. I explained what it was. Here's all the files that I changed. I added some extra bits. I literally added a print and then it looks like that. It's because this is diffing against production, I think, right now. But at the time, and got contributed. And then, and then that actually put me on the contributors list. So I think I'm, if you go here, so if you go to the Rustling's repo now and go to authors, you will see my mugshot somewhere at the bottom. There I am. Woo! Yeah, there you go, helping people learn Rust. So once you've done that, you kind of want something a bit more meaty. So you've done the kind of tutorial book that's from the Rust programming language, and you've done Rustlings, which is quizzes. So you've kind of played with the language, actually used it, and got a bit of kind of interaction with it. So kind of what's next, basically. So the whole reason I started to get into doing Rust is essentially I went to a meetup in London, and I went to this talk which was all about Rust because I just had a free evening. I think there was pizza and beer and things like this, so I was like, okay, cool, I'll attend. And this guy gave a talk, and he also gave some discount on his book, and it's called Zero to Production in Rust, which basically is a book about how you go from zero to production. So it expects you to have some kind of coding knowledge, I think, is kind of in the book. Or at least some Rust knowledge, just not loads, but just enough to write the code and understand what's going on. And then it will kind of basically deploy an app all the way through into production. I think about the point now where I've got an app deployed on DigitalOcean that's kind of like a subscriber app. So this is kind of my next step here because this is a bit more of a meaty project. There's kind of this actually shows you how you would implement, like rather than the book, which was kind of a tutorial, the kind of quizzes thing that gets me used to language. This now is kind of actually building a project and putting it into production, and actually deploying the thing out to somewhere and actually getting to use it. So this is kind of the next step for me. And I'm quite enjoying this actually because it's really good. I'm obviously sponsored by whoever writes this, Luca. Nice guy, I did meet him. He's an interesting guy. And he's wrote a good book. And yeah, I just thought I'd give it a go. Yeah, it's an interesting thing. And then the final one that I'm going to do, so I'm not there yet, but I'm kind of getting close because I'm nearly finished the Zero to Rust book, is there's a kind of a website called Zero to Mastery, which is kind of teaches you all different things about all different coding, and there's loads of different academies and courses you can do on here, so it's kind of complete. I basically got into these people from doing one of their Udemy courses. I can't remember what it was now, but I basically did one of these Udemy courses, and I thought it was really well put together, and I ended up subscribing to their newsletter, and now I'm here and looking at their things and stuff like that. So they basically sent me an email that was like, as I've been learning these things, they sent me an email that said, "Oh, we've released a new Rust course," and it was a Twitter clone built in Rust, and this is it here. So my next kind of challenge once I finish Zero to Production is I'm going to start building this Rust clone, and then try and implement that and give that a go. And that's kind of my little journey in there. So there we go. There's my journey so far on learning Rust as a Python developer. Please let me know what you're doing, if you're doing the same thing and how you're learning Rust. I'd love to know. Or send me a message. I'd love to meet up and we can maybe use some Rust together or build a project together. I've done that before with Java. If you like this video, you'll probably like the other playlists on my channel where I'm teaching you how to do JavaScript and teaching how to do Python. So I will link these here for you. But if you enjoyed this, please like and subscribe. If you want to see more content on Rust, please do let me know in the comments below. Obviously, it helps me know what you guys want to see. So if you do, then obviously please do comment. But apart from that, thank you very much for watching, everybody, and have a great day. There's an ice cream man that's just basically pulled up outside my house. So I think you can probably hear them if he plays his jingle. But I know what's going to happen. I'm going to start talking, and then he's going to play his jingle again, and then it'll all go. So there you go. He's going to do it. I can sense it. There he is.